Since there is a sense that we are all bound together by a higher purpose that encompasses both the body and the soul, I am aware that every individual who comes here brings expectations, inquiries, and a genuine desire for inner transformation. I, Laert, am aware that many of us, particularly guys in the 25 to 34 age range, feel the need to establish a forum where we may discuss self-discovery and seminal retention in an open manner without fear of stigma or condemnation. Since retention is more than just a physical accomplishment, it includes touching many delicate dimensions. I think this first stage of connection is essential to showing that no one goes through this process alone. While I am appreciative of the veterans who are standing their own and sharing their successes and struggles, I am also pleased to see comments from newbies who state that they are only beginning the process of retention. One of our goals is to establish a space where people may freely discuss and leave comments, both to ask for advice and to encourage those who are just starting out. I understand that when I urge viewers to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, I'm not just trying to get more views. My goal is to establish a network of strength where every click signifies a vote of solidarity and confidence. Interactions increase the message's reach and make other travelers feel more comfortable joining in. When someone says they happened upon this area by accident, but were influenced by the inspiration and upbeat vibes we offered, I truly like hearing that. Every act of support seems to add more gasoline to the transformational fire, illuminating the way for everyone. Given that I observe that many people require in-depth study, direction, and ongoing collaboration to retain discipline, I am appreciative of the opportunity to provide, for instance, classes or a community like Retain Gang. Since we deal with everyday demands, continual temptations, and a society that frequently does not comprehend this kind of decision, I am aware that maintaining sexual vitality is a difficult task that calls for much more than willpower. Thus, courage is multiplied in a collective setting. The distinction lies in the voice of moral support and camaraderie. I see that a sense of fraternity is growing stronger every day, inviting us to grow together as we share our experiences with self-control, meditation, spirituality, and all the other components of this practice. I want to make it clear to everyone that this retention technique is more than just a way to get more attractive women or boost self-esteem in daily situations. Naturally, this occurs, but at its core, it is a tool to raise our consciousness, develop our character, and bring us into alignment with a higher frequency. Many of you mention observable shifts in your own conduct and how you are viewed by others. This realization of internal strength, in my opinion, arouses interest in everyone we encounter, both men and women, as they perceive an entirely new brilliance that defies simple explanation. Laert, I feel like people around me are commenting that I seem more confident and centered. What is happening? Is what I say when I begin reading stories of people who have begun the practice. I understand that there are several contributing factors. Vital energy that we are unable to release builds up in our bodies, our posture shifts, our voice becomes more solid, and our gaze deepens. As a result, even people who are unaware of the situation can see the difference. We are like a torch that moves between extinguished lamps, I like to remark. We are intentionally stoking the fire that most people are unaware they possess within themselves, not because we are superior to others. I constantly make an effort to keep in mind that every indication of improvement, whether it be self-assurance, a praise we get on the street, our communication style at work, or the serenity we experience in the face of adversity, needs to be appreciated. They are signs that the practice is working and that the energy is being directed appropriately. The most crucial thing is to realize that there is a strong, invisible dynamic at work, even if the person first doesn't realize that semen retention is the origin of this new magnetism. Many people even mention changes in the auric field, which is the subtle realm that envelops our physical bodies, I've noticed. Not only does holding the seed require physical effort, but it also has an impact on our minds and spirits. Since we are working with multiple dimensions simultaneously, rather than simply one, this is, in my opinion, the crucial issue. By taking a straightforward approach to this topic, I hope to inspire everyone to cultivate their own perceptual abilities. Because retention increases our emotional connection and improves our ability to sense the vibrations of others around us, it can foster intuition, sensitivity, and even empathy. As a result, retention gradually increases our awareness of the energies we exchange with the environment and our own decisions. I emphasize that this goes beyond ego and vanity since it is not just about gaining attention when I hear someone remark that both men and women have begun to notice something new. The true benefit is that we learn to value our energy as a sacred resource that cannot be wasted in any way. This self-respect manifests itself in all that we do. Internalizing this concept helps us become more disciplined in handling our cravings and impulses, which benefits our mental and spiritual well-being. One thing, in my opinion, is crucial: self-awareness. Many of us go years without recognizing our own shortcomings, without knowing why we make the same mistakes over and over again, or give in to temptations that ultimately deplete us. As we embark on this route of retention, we start to reevaluate our routines, challenge beliefs that we once took for granted, and ultimately realize who we truly are. The most potent outcome, in my opinion, is this awakening as it turns us into the heroes of our own history. I'm happy to point out that every individual changes their own life, which ultimately affects other people. Your relationships with your family, friends, and coworkers all improve when you take care of and elevate your energy. Everyone's well-being is multiplied, as what was once an individual effort starts to ripple in concentric circles. I personally observe behavioral shifts in those around me on a regular basis, either as a result of inspiration or because they realize that sexuality and self-control may be viewed in new ways. This group development inspires me far more than a straightforward physical marathon. We are learning that seminal retention provides a sort of doorway to self-mastery, even if many people may first be interested only in boosting their self-esteem or getting more attention. That magnetism we talk about so much is rooted in a profound sense of mastery over one's own powers, rather than merely outward appearances. For instance, I, Laerti, am inspired to see that young people who once claimed to be nervous and uncomfortable now express feeling more patient and at ease with themselves. What starts as a physical seed grows into a seed for spiritual and emotional development. We ultimately break free from the automatic process that caused us to unconsciously waste our time, attention, and energy. I can recall when I first began looking into this profession years back. I was also searching for solutions because I had come to the realization that there was meaninglessness and emptiness in spite of all the freedom society affords us in terms of instant gratification. I found that you start to view life differently when you are able to maintain this creative ability. You start to channel your potential toward more positive endeavors as your mind is released from certain limitations and compulsions. Because we come to understand that we are beings with the energy of creation within us, rather than merely a body responding to external stimuli, this slow progression wakes us to spirituality. Everything takes on a new significance as we examine this process in greater detail. I've seen that a lot of channel partners have the same sense of belonging to something that is solely sense-based and cannot be expressed in words. The social energy that propels us all is reinforced by every interaction, gesture, and report, demonstrating that seminal retention is a crucial component in unlocking interior doors. I get comments every week from people who report that after just a few weeks of practice, they have experienced a dramatic shift in their emotional condition. Others claim that after months of discipline, they see a significant improvement in their mental clarity and sense of self. I like to stress that it is a construct and not instant magic. The more we put in, the more we observe how our inner world grows and how we no longer feel like prisoners of urges that appeared out of control. Retaining sexual vitality is like tending to a rare plant that grows within of us, I like to say. It becomes stronger every day, establishes deeper roots, and begins to produce fruit that permeates every area of life. The most intriguing aspect of this growth is that, although being an individual journey, there is a multiplier effect when multiple people work together to cultivate this plant, sharing best practices, insights, and experiences. It becomes more and more clear how powerful this collective is. One of the things about the channel that most inspires me, in my opinion, is this sense of fraternity. Since every narrative adds a brick to the building structure, I appreciate all of the remarks. Every testimonial seems to serve as a reaffirmation that we are headed in the right direction and that it is worthwhile to pursue in real life. I occasionally witness people embarking on this trip in search of increased energy or the capacity to focus for job or studies, only to be taken aback to learn that the true transformation is internal. This, in my opinion, shows that human growth extends well beyond what is visible to the naked sight. When we acknowledge that spirituality is a part of this exercise, we realize that every time we fight the want to ejaculate aimlessly, We are purifying ourselves, removing emotional obstacles, and reaching a higher plane of clarity. I really believe that it is critical to recognize these internal indicators and realize that our vital energy is a finite resource. We need to make good use of it and direct it toward important objectives. The knowledge that every decision we make affects our vibration, quality of life, and level of plenitude is, in my opinion, one of the key lessons that retention imparts. I observe how many people immediately see the advantages of this behavioral shift. Daily inspiration, more harmonious relationships, and even how we handle obstacles that once rocked us are all signs of the impact. This previously spent energy comes back to us in the form of calm, self-awareness, and impulse control. I noticed that the chapter discusses this initial touch and the relationships that are formed between us all, emphasizing the journey's human and brotherly components. Every like and subscribe turns into a link in a chain that makes us stronger. The idea that we are not remote islands, but rather a part of something greater is strengthened by this sense of community. I think it's important to observe that the more someone delves into retention, the more they believe that somebody higher is in charge of every action. I'm speaking of spirituality and a connection to one's own core, not of any particular religion. By preserving the semen, we also preserve the energy for projects, ideas, and inspirations that were only waiting for this urge, which helps us realize that we are co-creators of our reality. I have a lot of respect for people who come in and say that they had questions at first and believed that all of this was nonsense or unsubstantiated mysticism, but that they tried it nonetheless and that they have now seen indisputable changes. I am aware that many people still have preconceived notions and anxieties about this subject, but every victory comment and every account of someone who has overcome adversity dispels these worries and replaces them with newfound resolve. I wholeheartedly endorse the idea that as we comprehend the full extent of what is preserved, this practice will become stronger. It is the creative spark that resides within us as well as the physical fluid. This awakening as a group transforms lives. People who used to live in continual complaint have shown me that they now have more reasons to be thankful. In fact, I believe that one of the main tenets for everybody on this road is this sense of thankfulness. Every step we take is a step closer to becoming a more full version of ourselves. Therefore, I always urge people to celebrate even the smallest victories. I've noticed that novices frequently ponder when they will begin to realize outcomes. I often say that although everyone has a unique rhythm, internal changes always occur, even if they are slight at first, and they tend to build up until it is hard to ignore that something is different. That's how it was for me, and I think it's the same for most others. The aforementioned chapter, in my opinion, serves as a reminder to focus on this initial interaction with the community, to recognize the value of extending a warm welcome, and to never forget that this path is full of ups and downs. A straight line does not exist. On some days, the impulse gets the better of us, but the group's strength and dedication help us get back on course. We eventually discovered that the advantages go much beyond what we initially believed, since they include structural shifts in our mindset and the way we see the environment, in addition to more obvious benefits like better mood or posture, all around. Since unity is a potent antidote to demotivation, I fully see the benefit of reiterating the call for everyone to participate in classes and study groups or to write comments. We can recognize that the road is feasible when we observe someone who has attained the outcomes we want. We acknowledge that we are human, but are not doomed to failure when we hear about someone who experienced a setback, but came back to the practice stronger. Prepare yourself for a voyage that will change your understanding of energy, self-mastery, and consciousness expansion. You explore transformative topics like gaining spiritual liberation, activating crystalline oil, and waking Kundalini in my new book, Alchemy of the Gods. This is a call to thoroughly investigate the actual power that you possess. To ensure that everyone has access to valuable information, the work is available in physical, digital, and audiobook formats. The links are already waiting for you in the description and pinned comment. First, though, I have some unexpected news for you. The Semen Retention Success Path is the ultimate manual you've been looking for if you're prepared to change your life and increase your energy to completely new heights. I compiled the 6 main elements of semen retention's content into an audiobook that is jam-packed with insightful knowledge for your growth. Get ready for an unconventional voyage of self-discovery and personal development. Imagine regaining your vigor, developing deeply and permanently, and discovering a vast amount of vital energy. This audiobook is a master key that unlocks doors to a new degree of achievement and fulfillment, not merely a source of knowledge. There's more. A 30% discount on my special ebook, The Art of Semen Retention for Men, is yours when you buy the Semen Retention Success Path. You will discover effective methods for your spiritual growth, personal development, emotional equilibrium, self-awareness, self-development, spiritual connection, and life purpose in the remaining 20 pages. All of this enhances men's performance and changes their lifestyle by enabling them to realize their full potential. Additionally, I would like to give a fantastic opportunity for you to become a channel supporter. For individuals who choose to continue on this path, we now offer a tab for new members. In addition to exceptional content, priority in life, and of course, more motivation for me to keep posting news and enhancing the work on the channel, members will enjoy exclusive YouTube advantages. Whether you decide to buy Alchemy of the Gods in physical, digital, or audiobook form, enroll in the Semen Retention Success Path, or take advantage of the ebook, The Art of Semen Retention for Men's discount, you can be sure that you will have access to resources that will transform your energy and reveal your true inner strength. Become a channel member to receive previously unheard of perks, contribute to this initiative, and take part in a community that is always expanding and that exchanges knowledge, inspiration, and transformation. The links are in the description and the pinned remark directly below. Don't let this chance pass you by. Make the decision to change, to grow, and to begin your journey to self-realization now. I would like to underline that the main takeaway from this first chapter is that nobody is alone, and that retention is a brave act that unites us with our peers and creates empathy and inspiration. This area serves as a reminder that we are stronger as a team, even though modern life frequently forces people to go alone. In retrospect, I understand that it was precisely this feeling of community that sustained me during challenging times when temptations appeared unstoppable. I felt reassured and strengthened by the knowledge that other men were experiencing the same difficulties and had the same objective. All of this demonstrates the value of starting with this strategy, allowing each newbie to feel as though they are in a place that is ready to welcome them with open arms and provide them knowledge, company, and a lively spirit that encourages personal development. This opening section of the script, in my opinion, is essentially a plea for everyone to recognize the path that lies ahead and a gateway to something greater. We accomplish this by acknowledging our accomplishments, growing from our errors, and accepting accountability for the preservation of our valuable energy. Every message shared, every word said on this channel, and every question answered, all contribute to the creation of a strong base upon which our evolution is built. As the channel's leader, it is my responsibility to remind everyone that the practice goes well beyond tangible accomplishments. It encourages an internal reorganization that forces us to reconsider our relationships, priorities, and eventually, the purpose of our lives. I really believe that the more we explore, the more we discover that this quest fulfills a deep-seated desire for integrity and harmony in our souls. In reality, self-confidence refers to internal alignment, or the coherence of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. When we discuss magnetism, we are referring to the outward expression of a bright spark that is inside of us. Therefore, this chapter's idea becomes even more significant because it is about sowing the seeds of a rebirth that develops with every new realization, rather than something flimsy. I would also like to add that breaking some taboos requires a welcoming and inclusive atmosphere. Many men are embarrassed to discuss their struggles with sexuality, including irrational emotions and cravings. By fostering a friendly atmosphere, we demonstrate that these issues are more prevalent than one may imagine, and that there is a constructive and good way to address them. In this manner, the person feels supported and encouraged rather than condemned. This step, realizing your own fragility and accepting assistance from a support system, is crucial for growth, as I often stress. It is a synonym for wisdom rather than weakness. Over time, the individual learns that this community serves as a haven for them during trying times, as well as a place to celebrate successes and share helpful advice on how to stay persistent. There is a reciprocal logic that greatly pleases me. The link gets stronger since every new member who joins and feels accepted later on ends up lending a helping hand to another novice. The potential to change lives and, in a sense, create a positive energy wave that transcends virtual boundaries, is what I typically refer to as the channel's real treasure. I understand that when we keep a field of fraternity and gratitude, things come easily. It becomes evident at this first welcome that the primary win is within and goes well beyond outward appearances. Because we are realigning our frequencies, purging our brains of distractions, and concentrating on specific objectives, we develop the magnetism that ultimately draws the attention of people around us. From basic interactions at work, the grocery store, and the gym to more serious problems in emotional relationships, it's amazing to see how much this affects day-to-day living. The choice to turn retention into something that goes beyond simple physical exertion and turns into a route of personal growth, in my opinion, is the crucial element in everything. This implies that a change in your aura, a sparkle in your eyes, and self-confidence are all merely the organic results of an internal reorganization. Seeing this energy as something that emanates for the benefit of everyone around us, rather than just as a privilege for oneself, is, I've noticed, the significant difference. Practitioners so take on the role of lighthouses, illuminating the path for others who remain in the shadow of skepticism and doubt. The fact that we can all be that lighthouse is what drives me the most. First and foremost, you must have faith in your own capacity for transformation. Then keep going and enjoy the benefits. Lastly, spread this light to anyone who are still searching for a way. When these elements come together, an unstoppable force is created that gets stronger with each new chapter, video, and lesson. This is the reason this first chapter is so powerful. The statement, "We are here, ready to contribute what we know and to learn what we don't yet know, because the journey is infinite and made up of daily discoveries," is what it symbolizes. It also makes me think of all the stories I've read about people who have changed their lives, whether it's by finding a sense of purpose, overcoming addictions that have held them captive, or even finding a spiritual balance that gives them more hope each day. This cascade effect is invaluable. It gives us a sense of fulfillment when we are engaged in an activity that transcends the realm of a mere pastime and resonates with our innermost selves. The invitation for everyone to enter, settle in, and experience a lively fraternity that encourages and supports one another while acknowledging the power of developing one's own sexual, physical, and spiritual energy is where it all begins. The discipline of retention should not be experienced in isolation, which is why I always make it a point to emphasize the significance of this connection between the audience, storyteller, and channel. The field we collectively cultivate becomes more potent the more people we add. In addition to complementing one another's perspectives and learning from one another, we also pull each other's ears when we see flaws that can be fixed. The process as a whole is supported by this candor and sharing of successes and challenges. A newcomer is more likely to open up, trust, and participate more fully as soon as they feel welcomed. To put it briefly, this combination of factors makes everyone understand that retention is a life decision that alters our thoughts, words, and behaviors, and it is far more than a passing habit. This transformation becomes exponential when it takes place inside a community that shares the same goal. Every word in this welcoming chapter, in my opinion, has a feeling of purpose. This is the seed of change, and each of us is responsible for watering it every day with self-control, patience, and a healthy dose of courage to face our own fears. It's almost like telling each new brother on the journey, "You are not alone, your presence is valuable, and together, we will build a solid path towards true evolution." Because of this, I believe that how we begin a conversation sets the tone for the rest of it. People are far more inclined to learn more about a subject and see results when they understand that there are no judgments, only support and guidance. Strangeness can arise when discussing sexual energy, but any uneasiness is eliminated by the transparent and brotherly environment. The most authentic connection, the one that propels us on with assurance, is formed at this precise instant. This first stage, in my opinion, is similar to clearing the ground before planting. The seeds will sprout more robustly and produce a bountiful harvest for all if we approach this with love, care, and attention. It is impossible to undervalue this relational component, since retention is more than just a technique. It is a gateway for individuals seeking to break free from harmful habits and discover their greatest selves. This diverse group that emerges with varying backgrounds and degrees of expertise enhances communication and expands perspectives. Every contemplation, every query, and every success story all help to deepen our commitment. It is a collective construct that emerges from empathy and diversity. As a result, every new member is aware of the unwavering support of individuals who have already experienced comparable phases. Considering what this chapter explains, I believe it not only creates the favorable conditions, but also serves as a reminder to cherish each little accomplishment. I always keep in mind that, although our culture does not generally encourage us to appreciate the journey's intermediate stages, in this case we treasure every step because we recognize that real development is made brick by brick and step by step. This is what makes the process solid. I want to stress that one of the main factors that motivates people to stick with their route, particularly in the face of challenges, is the sense of belonging that develops at this point. The practice of retention is not without its challenges, as it confronts deeply rooted behaviors and our most potent natural urge, sexual desire. We realize how important it is to be around by people who understand us and encourage us to keep going when we are feeling weak. This chapter, in my opinion, also gently introduces everyone to the notion that this practice goes well beyond the material world, planting the seeds of spiritual comprehension. The act of controlling sexual energy has a sacred quality, and we gradually come to realize that it allows us to access higher levels of our existence. The first step to a journey of self-knowledge is just feeling accepted, even though many people may not yet understand how wide this approach may be at this early level. As a result, I appreciate how each word is utilized with care, demonstrating that nothing is forced or rigid here. Anyone who wishes to see genuine change in their own life is invited and given the chance. I also reaffirm my belief that we are making a significant difference in the lives of many people who might not otherwise find this chance of retention, as I read every comment that conveys happiness at having discovered a space free from judgment. I hope that both men and women are beginning to see that sexual energy is not a taboo, but rather a vast source of inner strength that may support our growth on all levels, from the spiritual to the emotional. This welcoming moment is, in my opinion, a celebration of the bravery of everyone who dares to defy conventional norms and pursue something more profound. The person who takes this step makes me, Layerta, proud. I am aware that resisting the constant barrage of outside stimuli that demand instant gratification is difficult. However, it is precisely because of this that this collaboration of efforts turns out to be so transformational. Every individual who shows up and sees that their process affects not just themselves, but also those around them, understands that we are creating a positive feedback loop that can influence other aspects of our lives. By strengthening this agreement of camaraderie and respect for one another, we cultivate an environment that is conducive to the growth of qualities like self-control, discipline, and tenacity. Additionally, we discover that by practicing these virtues, our sense of purpose takes on new dimensions, our intuition becomes more acute, and our perspective of the world broadens. It is evident that retention is a process that increases our awareness and fullness rather than an objective in and of itself. We can even liken it to a portal that helps us reestablish a connection with our personal mission and heritage. Therefore, this chapter is crucial to preparing everyone's hearts to embrace and welcome all of the upcoming changes, both internal and external. The difference that, in my opinion, makes each video on the channel more than just another piece of online information, but rather a genuine learning and community experience, is the creation of a sisterhood atmosphere, motivation, and closeness. Since we recognize that retention must be experienced, shared, and celebrated, I think that everyone who reads or hears these words will sense how sincerely we welcome each member. This approach attracts attention due to its audacity and ability to address the underlying causes of our habits and actions, but it also enchants because it transforms lives in a profound and long-lasting way. I find it fascinating that people can intuitively sense our energy from a distance, since it demonstrates how change originates inward and radiates an uncontrollable light. And it is precisely this light, the light that draws and signals that something has been awakened, that tells us that we are headed in the correct direction. We are all small suns that radiate this life force, as I like to say. I've witnessed instances where even people who don't practice are intrigued and respectful when they observe how a friend changed and started to retain. This catalyst effect serves as a reminder that when we change, we also set the stage for others to change as well. It is a sight to behold. Of course, the initial focus might be on achieving tangible outcomes, like better mental clarity, improved temperament, or even the attraction that so many people are looking for. However, we gradually come to see that a bigger plan is being carried out, and this is what keeps the process going. We are driven not just by fleeting advantages, but also by a significant paradigm shift. And this shift includes everything from how we care for our seeds to how we approach our jobs, families, and spirituality in general. The practice is so rich and fascinating because of this mosaic of senses. I frequently describe it as an inside journey, a dive into our most fundamental selves. Therefore, it's not simply hyperbole or marketing when I stress the value of welcoming, promoting channel registration, and inviting everyone to engage. It is a sincere appeal for everyone to join something that has the power to transform lives, beginning with themselves. Our sexual energy is, after all, the power of life, and when we intentionally channel it, we are making an investment in our personal development and our capacity to have a positive impact on the world. I observe that at this early level, a lot of people are shocked to realize that there are males who are interested in topics that are more than trivial, that there is a learning network that is open to discussion and sharing, and that there are useful strategies and lessons for sustaining persistence down this road. For those who lived in quiet because they were frightened to discuss these issues, this solidifies the sense that we are not alone in our internal conflicts, which is already a huge relief. In the end, this introduction serves the purpose of demonstrating that everyone is accepted, irrespective of their current position, and that there is space for experience sharing, explanation seeking, and motivating. This sense of solidarity, self-assurance, and sharing fosters the perfect environment to strengthen our resolve to stay, elevate our consciousness, and solidify the change we so much desire. The channel's foundation is established here, relying on everyone's genuine wish for a more lively and genuine life. And it is a privilege for me, Laert, to be able to carry out this process, use all I have learned, and continue learning new things every day on this ardent path.